Hello, I just want to do a video about the tools that I've learned to be able to deal with anorexia and be able to recover on my own. I don't recommend recovering on your own. It's very difficult and very lonely and hard process. The reason I feel like I'm able to recover on my own is because I've had so much treatment, so I know the tools that they've done to help me recover, and a sort of diet, and I've also tackled quite a few of my issues, but I am going to go back to therapy and tackle them more. But yeah, for those people who don't have access to treatment or are too afraid to do treatment, or perhaps feel, I know a lot of people feel like they're not severe enough to go to treatment, and I don't know about the US or anywhere else, but it's quite tragic that in the UK you can only get professional like inpatient treatment and out like day patient treatment when you're at a critical weight, which you shouldn't have to get to. You should treat it before you get to that. But anyway, these are just the little tools that I have learned to be able to deal with my eating disorder. Number one, you have to really want it. So you need to know what you're aiming for. I think a big part of anorexia is you feel like you're losing part of yourself. You feel like you're losing something so big in your life that makes you who you are, that it's very, very scary. And you need to make sure that you fill that void with something else, so you don't feel like you've lost part of yourself, because that's the scariest part of me with my recovery. Is I feel like I'm losing part of who I am, and such a big comfort in my life, such a big sort of a friend. Um, yeah, so I feel like you have to have something there. And one thing that I have found very helpful is I made this, my aims and motivations, and yes, I have it on my wall. And no, I don't care that people see it when they come round, because I don't really care. My recovery is more important, but it's something that I like to look at and read every day and be able to think about things that I want in my life and that anorexia cannot give me. So an example is to have a family and children, to go out with friends without feeling guilty, not to live my life by endless list of rules and enjoy not knowing where the day takes, to have a birthday cake is a little thing, to feel mentally and physically strong. And some of the big ones, like have big goals, is like to go help turtles in New Zealand, to write a book, um, to have a job, walk the road to San Diego, like lots of things. I've written loads. I've written the BMI I want to get to, BMI 18, the weight, and my rabbit. So yeah, that is very, very helpful, and I plan on making it much bigger and sticking it on my room. It's something that you can do ones where you add weekly goals and stuff like that. Another thing that I found very, very helpful, planning. I think planning is one of the most important things you can do in recovery. And I know that people get very angry about having plans, because they say it's not realistic and you shouldn't plan what you're going to eat the day in advance, because it's still about control, and it's not realistic. But if you want to get to the point where you can do that and live life one day as it comes, you need to first be able to get back on track. And the way to do that is through plans. And the way I do it is I stick to times. Times are very, very important, because if you have lunch at 12 and then dinner at 5, once it starts hitting on about 3, if you've forgotten to have lunch before, you just have it later, it makes dinner later, then makes supper later, and you end up missing something because you don't want to eat too soon and get to bed. So I think it's very, very important to stick to times and have a rigid time. So if you just started eating again or increased, then it gets your body used to going back into food, and it gets your body expectant, so it would start to feel hungry at them points of time. So I stick to times. Like, I'm a very early riser, so I get up at 6 and I have breakfast at 6:30. I get it out of the way. I have my snack at 10. I have my lunch at 12 or 12:30. My next snack at 3. My dinner about 5 to 6, and then my supper at 9. It sounds like a lot, and if you look at me, I'm not fat. Your body, when it's in recovery, needs a hell of a lot. When I was skinnier, I needed even more. Believe me, I was eating about 4,000 calories a day and only putting on a pound a week. So yeah, plan. You need to plan. And you need to stick to. There's so many plans that you can get on the internet, but you need to stick to like having a certain amount of carbs, a certain amount of fruit. You need to make sure that you have things which you are comfortable with, and don't. I think my third point is don't go in full steam ahead thinking that you're going to recover in a week. I remember when I started doing my plans, I'd started adding challenges in every day, which I know I couldn't do. And I overwhelmed me, and it just caused me to either binge and purge, or relapse, or skip a meal, or something, and bring in negative behaviours. So you need to not challenge yourself, you need to walk before you can run. So don't start adding things like cakes or bread, whatever your fear food is. Like mine is cheese, and I've been trying to recover since for a very long time, but on my own since December, and it's now May, and I still haven't introduced cheese because I can't. At the moment, I'm still not in the right place to be able to introduce cheese. So you need to have things that you can manage, and you also need to tell people. You need to tell your close friends and family. I've found that ever since I've started talking about my eating disorder, my family have begun to understand it. Things have got much easier, purely because I have their support, and if I feel like I'm in a bad place, I can tell them and speak to them about it. I think talking about it is very, very important, and I find it can be very big support once you can feel very isolated. And the one thing that you don't get if you're doing treatment on your own is that support network. So I think it's really crucial that you have your family beside you and your friends. You shouldn't be embarrassed about it. Believe me, a lot of friends who I've told a lot more understanding. Of course, people don't understand it, and you should tell them and be very truthful about it. A lot of people think I've been told I'm vain by friends and all sorts because they don't understand. But once you explain, I'm sure they will find some empathy for you and be able to help you because they want to, they're just worried. People get very, very angry and frustrated with the person who has the illness because they can't help them. It's got to come from you. I guess my last point is that I wouldn't do it alone. I would go and try and get treatment. You can do these tools whilst you're outside of treatment, but I think you can eat all you want and become perfectly normal in your eating habits, but you're not dealing with the problem that will come and bite you later in life. And so yeah, you need to tackle it now. I guess there's another thing that I say which can help with fill your surroundings with positive things. For example, I've got this lovely chap who's very irritating right now. Marvin? Yeah, I just trying to make my room really happy. Lots of pictures of me when I'm well, smiling. Yeah, just fill your world with positive things and try to get out. I know that when not even now I'm scared to go out because I think everyone's going to be looking at me and thinking I'm fat. But you need to just get out. The more you stay indoors and isolate yourself, the more you're gonna let the eating disorder take over you. It's just that's what it wants to do. It wants to have you all by itself so it can smother you and basically kill you. Well, that's the sad truth. Anorexia does kill, so just obviously doing that, and it's deadly. It's a very big issue that people just sort of think isn't important. As my dad always tells me, it's like watching someone slowly commit suicide, because that's what you're doing. That's the honest truth. So, somber little note to end with, but to have something to scare you into tactics. So, yeah, plan. I can't even remember what I've been saying, but plan, main thing. Do plans. Make plans, stick it on your fridge. If you find that you're going to lie to yourself and trick yourself into thinking that something's different or that you're not going to have it, tell someone. I've lived with my housemate and I've told her before, if I'm not having this for dinner, ask me why and tell me to go make it. If you see me making something different from my plan, ask me why. Because we are very Our eating disorder is very clever, and it will trick us into thinking that we're sticking to the plan and being absolutely wonderful people on the road to recovery, when really it's not. It's taking us a step back. So yeah. I hope that helps. The very basic things. I wish there was some big cure, but it comes from within you. So, hi.